McGregor has now been claiming that Dana White and the UFC knew he had pre-existing injuries in his leg heading into the matchup with Dustin Poirier. Neither the UFC nor the Nevada State Athletic Commission that oversaw the contest has commented on the accusation at this point. So, Shannon, are you buying that Conor had pre-existing injuries in his leg?
Let's just say that it's true, Skip. This is not a good look for the UFC. But I think the stress fracture saved Conor McGregor from having a stress fracture in his face, because I believe Dustin Poirier was going to really beat him down. I just think the way they are, they're very close in age, Skip. But I just think the advanced level and the versatility that Dustin Poirier now has in his fight game far outseeds Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor has not evolved as a fighter. And so, therefore, I don't believe he was going to beat him, even without the stress fracture. So let's just take this for what it is. He says that all the doctors, I think the guy's Dr. Jeff Davison is the head doctor at the UFC. And Dana White also knew that this was going on. Now, I understand, Skip, this is a big fight. You don't want to have a guy pull out at the last minute, but you put the guy in harm's way. And you're not supposed to do that. Now, you're supposed to have all fighters says that you fill out a pre-fight medical questionnaire when they compete in Nevada. Now, somebody's going to have some questions to answer. Somebody's going to have some questions to answer, Skip. And I get it. And this is why it explains why Dana White was so willing. Oh, yeah, there's going to be a Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier 4. After you saw what just happened, the man got beat handily in the first round, was getting beat this time, and you're so easy to just throw this up there. Basically, it seems to me that Dana said, hey, Conor, go out there, no matter what happens, there'll be a rematch on top of a rematch. Yeah. And, you know, we don't want to cancel this fight, because it was, when Conor fights, Skip, it's the biggest draw in UFC. Yeah, there are other guys that did the fight. I like Ngannou. I like Usman. I like Adesanya, the style bender. I like all those guys. Yep. But they don't rate. They don't draw like Conor McGregor. And you don't want a guy of this caliber pulling out, what, a week before or a couple of days before the fight, because it basically would kill your card.
I hear everything you just said. I'll be the first to say, I don't know whether he had pre-existing stress fractures. He said multiple stress fractures in his left leg.
Right.
I'll admit I'm suspicious about it, because...
Skip, he put names, though, Skip. He put names to it.
He called them out by name.
Yes.
And usually in Conor's past, when he calls somebody out, he's on the right side of that argument.
Correct.
But here's my question. If you know that you have these pre-existing stress fractures in your left leg, and you know that you're close to pulling out of the fight, then why would you enter the fight with a whole new strategy against Poirier of opening up with a whole lot of kicking with your left leg? Why would you do that? If you were so concerned about your stress fractures, why would you put your left leg in harm's way immediately? Help me out. Why would you do that?
That's not normally how it works, Skip. You see fighters, when they break their hands in the fight, they're very reluctant to throw a punch with that broken hand. So if you know, Floyd Mayweather have had very brittle hands, and Floyd has fought a lot of fights basically just throwing the jab and the hook, because you don't, Skip, that's painful. That's very painful.
And remember, in the previous fight back in January, Poirier had used his kicking to his advantage, where that had been a shocking new way that he had punished Conor with the kicks. So now Conor was saying, I'm going to fight fire with fire. I'm going to start open up by kicking you. Well, you wouldn't do that if you have stress fractures in your left leg, because you're just daring the devil, and the devil won. Because remember, right away, in the first minute of the fight, he tried a left-handed kick. It caught Poirier up in the thigh. And Poirier said, I heard a crack. And remember, he points down to his leg like, you just cracked your leg. And so it wasn't any surprise to Poirier that near the end of round one, you know, the worst thing happened, and his leg buckled completely underneath him. So that is a little suspicious, to the point of inexplicable to me. Obviously, Conor's reputation is failing, and his drawing power is diminishing by the fight. And obviously, he hasn't just been losing fights, he's been getting his ass kicked in fight after fight since he went 10 rounds with Floyd, obviously. So it's just still, I was a little also suspicious. I thought maybe Dana or the doctor or the Nevada State Athletic Commission would respond immediately. We knew nothing about it, and the silence is deafening on their part. So
Right.
maybe he did have these pre-existing injuries. I hope so for his sake. And to your point, I agree with you. Fate intervened and saved him, took him off the hook from an even worse beating facially from Poirier in round 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Skip. Normally, we don't see guys when they have an injury, they favor that leg. In other words, I'm going to fight an orthodox stance because Conor is a southpaw. Conor's left-handed. So I was switching, so I'm not trying to use that. But he was kicking as if nothing was wrong with the leg. So that I agree with you. I'm like, okay, there's nothing. If there's something wrong, I'm not going to fight with my injured. I'm not going to try to use that. I'm going to try to stay away from that. But for whatever reason he chose to kick, maybe he's trying to, throw Poirier off. But I just don't believe, Skip, at this, where they are in their careers, I just do not believe Conor McGregor can beat Dustin Poirier again.
I don't either.
I just believe that the skill level in which the advancement in which Poirier has added to his game, and Conor McGregor is basically the same fighter that he burst on the scene. He still has dynamite power in his left hand, and that's what he's trying to end the fight with. But guys realize that. But Skip, Poirier was not afraid to slug it out with him toe-to-toe.
Nope.
Khabib was not afraid to slug it out with him toe-to-toe.
Nope.
And then when they take him down, Skip, they keep him down there for the rest of the match, and they just punish him. So I just don't know. I just don't know where he goes from here because he's at least a year away from fighting again. So now you're going to add more inactivity because that was been his problem, Skip. He's only fought 4 times in the last 5 years. And 3 of those 4 times, Skip, we've seen him sitting in the ring, sitting on his butt.
We have.
After he got choked out or got pummeled out. Now, he can say, well, doctor stoppage, doctor stoppage. The doctor saved you from a real good one.
He did.
That's what happened. He saved you.
Well, in the end, I got to give Conor this. He has now planted enough of a seed of doubt in my mind and probably many people's minds.
Yep.
It will make Poirier 4 slightly more marketable, even though I'm going to give him little to no chance. At least I'll think, well, maybe he wasn't healthy, and maybe I'll give him a chance. But remember, he's now got rod and plates in his leg,
right.
And it's going to be at least a year before he's going to be able to bounce up off that leg again.
Well, Poirier is like I said, I'm not sitting around waiting for Conor McGregor.
No.
I think Oliveira has the belt. Hey, Dana, let me get that fight.
Yep. I got it.